Hey guys, welcome! Today I'm going to show you a quick and easy way to color a flower. The page that I'm working on is of course the page Demon. This is a follow-up lesson on that live stream that we did on my live review of the Faber-Castell box, which of course is amazing. I love this brand now. So if you haven't seen the live review of this, check it out. I'm going to put a link to that video in this video's description, and also there should be card popping up somewhere here on the screen, somewhere here I think. During that stream, I didn't actually finish the page, and you guys requested that I do a separate lesson on flowers, so here we are. And here I go again, cheating from the very start. The white that I'm using is not actually a Faber-Castell, this is a Prismacolor. And this was a mistake on my part, it's just habit. Someone sent me a box of, a 12-pack of white Prismacolors, and I just have them laying around all over the place. I am hooked on the Prismacolor white. To me, that's the best white pencil that's out there. This is my second best choice over white charcoal. Normally I would prime this with white charcoal, but a white Prismacolor pencil is just as good. Now the Faber-Castell does have white in it. See, proof, it exists. And it's great, it's great. It's comparable to Prismacolor, but you know, old habits, they're hard to break. So if you don't have a Prismacolor white, start with any white pencil or white charcoal. And notice how I'm priming this. I'm not just coloring the entire flower in solid white. I'm actually adding a little bit of this lined, streaky texture to the petals. I'm going along with the direction of the petals, usually starting from the tip of the petal and just making this little hash mark going towards the center. And that's how I'm shading most of it, except for the parts of the petals that are curling out. Those I'm just coloring in nice and full and complete with just a solid white. But the rest of it, it's a stroke from the tip to the base. Stroke, 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 stroke. And for this, actually, I think a pencil will work better than the white charcoal stick. I know, all of you who know me are probably crossing yourselves right now. Lisa's not using white charcoal. But for something like this on a flower that has a lot of detail, you really want to be able to use the sharpness of the pencil. The white charcoal sticks, they're a little tricky to sharpen and they get dull very quickly. And they're great for priming things like skin or, backgrounds. But for tiny detail like on this flower, a sharper version of white charcoal in a pencil form would be better. White Prismacolor pencil, white Faber-Castell, white Derwent, whatever you have in the form of white pencil, go with that. Now my second color is any kind of a purple or a magenta. Today we'll be making a purple kind of a flower, but the same principle will apply to any other color flower. For instance, if you're doing a yellow flower, I would pick an orange here. Or if you're doing a red flower, I would pick a red. But this is going to be kind of on the purplish magenta side. So magenta pencil is what I went with. And here, again, I'm working with a lot of detail. I'm using my super magical electric sharpener to keep my tips really sharp. And I'm working delicately, very precisely from the base of the petal out. So with the white, we went from the tips of the petals in. And now with our first color, we're working from the base of the petal out. Again, in single strokes. And the way that you get that smooth gradient on the petal is that you stroke it. So it's that glide off the page that creates the hairline effect. It's like a wisp. You stroke, 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 stroke. So you create that kind of a dry brush effect almost, but with a very finely sharpened pencil. So that's the first color. Notice that once again, I'm working systematically, one color at a time. Don't try to achieve the perfect effect with every single color on every single petal and expect the whole thing to come together in the end. It doesn't work like that. Work one color at a time, stick to your palette. Now, Me, I usually pre-select my colors before I start any coloring. I don't just dig around in my box as I'm working. So I already know all the colors that I'm going to use. Now you guys can use my final version as a reference and use the same colors that I picked, and then apply the same strategy to any other color. I'm going to put the final version up here so that you guys have a nice reference. So on the little bud as well, yes, because they're the same flower. They're literally attached to the same stem, so all the colors are matching. Now on to red. This red is gorgeous from the Faber-Castell set. Oh, the set that I'm using, by the way, is this 24 pencil polychrome set. One of my fans sent it to me. Thank you kindly. And I've been enjoying it a great deal. In fact, I enjoyed it so much that I'm planning to purchase the larger set, whatever it is, 150, 120. But if you saw the live show when I did the live review of the Faber-Castells, this is the red that I refer to as the tattoo red. I am so hooked on this red. It's absolutely delicious. I did the sun in that red, and it's fantastic. It's just so pure. I am barely touching the page here, and look at the strength of this pigment. It's unbelievable. And the same strategy applies. I'm working from the base of the petal out, creating these little strokes. But the whole structure is already there. With the white and the purple, I did pretty much everything that's needed for this flower. So the rest of it, it's just fluff and decoration. We don't really need to be as precise with the colors that are following. So you can see that while I'm adding the little strokes here and there, in other places I'm actually shading across to create that nice add-on of a color. So you don't have to be as precise with the layers that follow, but you do need to be gentle. This only works if you apply very little pressure and work with layers. And I'm using my Q-tip a little bit on this, but honestly, it made no difference on this brand. They don't really blend well with the Q-tip. Now for the blue. The reason that I'm using blue at all is because this small set of 24 pencils doesn't actually have purple in it. The closest thing to purple that it has is magenta. So I'm kind of building my purple effect with the red, the white, and the blue. But it's also a good habit to use blue on flowers anyway, because the way that our brain perceives shadows is that it perceives it in a little bit of a blue tone. Shadows look blue to us. Things in the distance look blue to us. So for that natural look, make sure not to use gray or black on flower shadows. Instead, use blue. It comes across a lot softer, a lot more natural, a lot more pleasant to look at. It's a good habit to get into. Oh, and by the way, this page that we're working with, it's up on Etsy. The link to that is, of course, in the video description, and I'll pop it up somewhere on the screen here. And it's a free gift to all of my patrons of all tiers. So if you're a patron, go grab it. And this design demon is also now available on t-shirts and tank tops and sweatshirts and the rest of my merch. A great way to support this channel is to shop at Talm. So swing by and grab something with this design on it and put a shiny penny in this witch's purse. Okay, a little bit of yellow. A sunshine kind of yellow, depending on whatever brand you're working with. Canary yellow in Prismacolor is great. Anything from that bright and straight up sunshine yellow family is perfect. And as much as I hate to work with green, the leaves do have to be green, so green it is. Surprisingly, the Polychromos set actually has very pleasant greens. I don't hate them that much. Of course, those who know me know exactly what I'm talking about. I hate green. I hate it. But this is all right. You know, I can live with a few green leaves. The same strategy applies to the leaves as to the petals. Notice how carefully I shaded the background with one kind of a green, but then I'm adding the details with my darker emerald green with just these strokes to give the leaf a natural texture. Just two types of green on the leaves, and that's it. There's no need to overthink it. Remember though, apply the same colors and the same technique to all the leaves all the way around. Don't go inventing new things for every single subject. Every leaf has a base of this kind of a dull leaf green, and then the details in a darker green. And for my final touch, this is optional, but I like to give a little bit more zing to the shadow, so I'm going to add a deep dark blue. Again, remember, shadows appear to us a little bit on the blue side. Never add black or gray to the shadows. It will make your painting look a little bit flat, a little bit forced. And yes, I often refer to these as paintings because that's how I teach you guys. I come from an oil painting background, and I apply a lot of that technique to my pencil coloring as well. You can also use this super dark blue to enhance the shadows on the flower itself a little bit, but I feel like it's going to be a little bit too harsh. I'm going to leave it the way it is. Just one last thing. A touch of white for little highlights. Again, optional. I like this look. Try it out. Just a few strokes here and there. Don't overdo it. Don't go making symmetrical line after line after line after line after line on every single leaf. Just a couple of thoughts here and there. Just stroke, make them random. And that's it. A super simple way to color a flower. Go ahead and give this a shot. Let me know how it goes. Post your colorings in my community. Here's the link. Here's the link. Somewhere on the screen there's a link. All the links to everything are in the video description. Swing by the shop. Grab a t-shirt with this design. Join my free community if you didn't already. Don't forget to give this video the thumbs up. It helps me out a lot. And subscribe to this channel if you don't already. I hope you have fun coloring, and I'll see you soon. Bye!